Hey guys, welcome back to the shack. I'm gonna be off camera today, trying a little voiceover here. As you can see above there, I got me a camera mount in the enclosure and got everything configured. Went through the entire process. This is a fisheye camera, but when you do the calibration, just do it as a standard lens and do the entire calibration. I do not like using the presets. I just soon go through the trouble of doing the calibration and have pretty good results. So what I'm doing here is I've drew that little circle. It's a 10 by 10 circle, and I'm just targeting with the camera to see if where it actually burns lines up with where it is on the workspace. And so I'm gonna zoom in right here, and the burn is there, but you can't see it yet. So when I turn that layer off, it'll kind of show you how well it is targeting. And as you can see, the circle lines up with after I update the overlay after the burn, the circle lines up with the hole in the wood. And so I'm just going to move it around the workspace a little bit, do it in a couple of other places, kind of aiming for the edge of that little feature right there where I burnt my Godzilla out earlier. Just going to send it down again. You want to test a few places on the workspace. Any camera is going to have different variations the further from the center of the workspace you get, but this fisheye is actually the same fisheye that I use in the portable clack shack. This is number 2 of my fisheye cameras, and you can see I'm updating the overlay, which should put the burn under there. And what you want to see is you want to see that the graphic that you put in the workspace covers the burn itself. That's what you want to see. So, and that's what I'm trying to do now. I'm going to the other end of the workspace, and you can see the writing on the nibble honeycomb. I've got 37 inches worth of workspace covered by this camera, and mounted it in the center of the workspace. Made me a little bracket out of some orange acrylic that I cut with the Monport, just to kind of match the door. Just me updating the overlay there. Did a little early. And you can see the further out of the center you get a little variation, but not terrible. I mean, the aim is pretty well, but that's why I say that you need to always frame just to be sure. And I'm not worried about this thing being dead on, which it's actually pretty close. But I want it to be highly accurate for getting me, in the ballpark at least. And what I'm doing now is I'm going to take an X, and I'm going to lay it over the top of the circle that I burned earlier, and that way we can kind of see if I can target that circle. So I'm going to take this X, kind of like crosshairs on a rifle. I'm just going to try to aim it at the center of that circle. Alright, once I get it aimed, then I'm just going to send the burn down. And what I'm trying to do is 2 things. I want to make sure that when I go from one end of the workspace and back, just checking the accuracy so I'll know what to expect when using this camera in the future. Letting it finish burn. If you watch the right screen, you can actually see what's going on in the enclosure, and you can see that it is obviously a fisheye camera because you can see the walls of the enclosure. You can see my air vents. It's a 180-degree field of view. I had looked at going to a 170, but I'm having such good results with the 180s that I'm sticking to them. And if you see, as I update the overlay there, you can't see the X. So when I turn the layer off, there you go. So it is targeting really well. It hit where I was wanting it to, and no issues. So I'm just going to run through a couple more here, doing the same thing. I'm just trying to take that X, use it kind of like the crosshairs, aiming at that circle I did earlier, and then I'm going to send it out there and let it burn. I try to switch over to the camera view so you can see on the right side over there. You can see what it's doing. But everybody had kept asking me, are you going to put a camera? Are you done with cameras? But the problem is the camera that I bought, the cord that was on it was not intended for a 48-inch wide or a 51-inch wide enclosure. And I'm waiting on Amazon to bring me my 6-foot USB extension. But luckily today I found about a 3-footer, and I've got it connected, but the cabling is not how I want it. So I'm still kind of waiting on that one to come in. Updating the overlay so that you can see the burn. And now I'm going to turn the layer off. And as you can see, it is directly underneath the graphic. That's what you want. So that, guys, is one accurate little camera. Now, just to play around a little more, I'm just going to draw a box around it and cut it out. So don't ask me why. I just I just wanted to keep playing with the camera. So now what I'm going to do is I'm basically just trying to draw a box around it, aim it best I can with the camera to get it to cut it out. And once I get it where I want it, I'm just going to send that down and let it cut it out. So there you go. You can watch the machine as it cuts right there in that little tiny screen. All right. Update the overlay. You can see where the cut is on the camera, and it hit exactly where I wanted it. So that's what I wanted. Guys, I will be putting the link to this, and that's me going over there to get the piece out. That's 180-degree field of view. You can see everything, guys. And there's the burn. So like I said, it's not going to be exact, but it's nice to have. So link below, guys.